Today we're doing a deep dive into a story that is less a story and more of a descent. It's about inheritance, but not of money or land. It's an inheritance of a terrible function.
It really is. It's a blueprint for a kind of sustainable horror. And our focus today is on the architecture of that bargain, how an entire community can build itself around a single monstrous secret.
And it all kicks off with something so mundane, an email.
Yeah, a cold, formal email from a lawyer. The narrator's estranged from his father, Elijah, and suddenly he has to deal with the estate.
It's all just legal jargon until you hit this one line, buried deep in the text.
That's the hook. One line. Workshop restricted access outbuilding #1 contents presumed hazardous.
I mean, that's not about old paint cans or rusty saws. Hazardous implies something else entirely. A known, contained threat.
It's an official warning, and that warning is the first clue. So he goes. He makes the drive out to rural Kentucky.
The journey itself feels designed to strip everything away. He talks about this thick, dark stretch of Kentucky forest and how the road just keeps getting smaller and smaller.
And then the GPS cuts out.
Right. An hour before he even gets there, modernity is gone, the map is gone, you are officially in a different kind of territory.
A place with its own rules. And when he arrives, the silence is the first thing that hits him. It's not peaceful. It's heavy. The house itself feels like it's bracing against the woods.
So he goes inside, and immediately you get a sense of his father, Elijah. He was a taxidermist.
But not just any taxidermist. The tools are laid out in the hallway. Bone saws, fine wire, curved needles.
Lined up with a almost surgical precision.
Exactly. It speaks to an obsessive level of control. And you see it in his work. These aren't just deer heads on a wall.
No. He describes a possum dressed in doll's clothes. A raccoon wearing tiny spectacles reading a tiny copy of Walden.
They're little frozen dramas.
Yes.
It's taking the act of preservation and turning it into something much, much stranger. A fixation.
And that fixation is summed up in something his father once told him. Preserving something is the only way to save it from the mountain.
And for years, he just thought that was some dark, metaphor about memory or something.
But what was the mountain? And what exactly was his father saving?
To get that answer, you have to look at the town. When he goes to get supplies, he's expecting people to be hostile, to the outsider.
When it's not hostility.
No, it's weirder. He describes it as weariness or maybe reverence. The woman at the grocery store does a double take. A man outside sees him and just crosses himself.
They're not afraid of him. They're afraid of what he represents. Change.
Precisely. Their politeness feels practiced. Hesitant. They're not worried he's going to scam them. They're worried he's not going to uphold the arrangement.
They're watching him, the preserver's son.
And the symbol of that whole arrangement is sitting right out back, the workshop.
Yeah. Heavy chain, rusted lock, and this simple little tag tied to the handle with a piece of red thread.
It just says, keep it shut.
That red thread makes it feel like more than just a lock. It's a ward, a ritual.
It's a shrine. He even remembers from when he was a kid, his father working in there like a priest. It was always guarded, always sacred.
So he needs the key, and he doesn't find it under a mat. He finds it inside an old hollowed-out family Bible.
The hiding place itself is a ritual. But the real tell, the thing that explains the nature of what's happening here, is what's on the page next to the key.
The entire section of Leviticus.
Ripped out, violently torn from the book.
And Leviticus that's the book of sacred laws. Purity codes, rules for sacrifice, what's holy and what's an abomination.
To tear it out it's a statement. It's a violent rejection of all of that. It's saying, your rules, your God, they don't apply here. We have our own system, our own sacrifice.
So transgression is the point, so he uses the key.
And the inside of the workshop is immaculate, perfectly organized, tools, jars of custom glass eyes, resins, that same surgical precision.
And in the center of the room, under a cloth, is a form.
This is the moment that goes from a creepy story to real horror. He pulls back the sheet.
It's human-shaped, the size of a teenager, but it's wrong. The limbs are too long.
And the skin? He notices the skin is a patchwork, subtle shifts in color and texture. It's not from one source.
And the eyes. Custom glass, too real, staring.
He calls it an abomination. A sick imitation of a person, but built with this obsessive, methodical care.
And he has no idea what it's for, not until he talks to a woman at the town bar, Ruth.
Right. And she gives him the oral history, the town's secret origin story.
Before his great-grandfather built that workshop, children in this area just vanished, constantly.
And the disappearances stopped, she says, when his family became the preservers.
That's the bargain. This awful, continuous task passed down through generations to keep something worse from happening.
And she gives him proof. She says the 1 year his father, Elijah, left town, right after his wife died, 2 children were taken.
And when he came back and reopened the workshop.
It stopped
Yep.
immediately. The town knows.
Yep.
They all know that without the preserver, the chaos returns.
Which explains why they're so desperate for him to stay. When he tries to, get the paperwork started to sell the place, everything grinds to a halt.
It's a coordinated stall tactic. The county clerk is suddenly so patient, so slow. The utility guy claims there's a backlog that doesn't exist.
Even the grocery store gives him a discount. It's all an effort to keep him there.
They're terrified. And that fear finally gets a voice. A man named Vernon Mott. He comes to the house.
And he just says it. He says, I know what happens when the house goes empty. I've seen it.
He confirms the stakes. It's not about property value. It's about life and death. And then he takes him somewhere.
To the ridge, past the tree line where his father had forbidden him to go as a child, and Vernon's only instruction is,
You must not speak. Don't even breathe too loudly if it hears us.
the terror in that is just palpable. He describes the clearing they find. The trees are all bent inward, he says, like the ribs of a collapsed lung.
And in the middle of that dead space is the parent.
Enormous, vaguely human, a patchwork of flesh and hide, stitched and restitched over decades. Just a creature of raw, consuming hunger.
And what is it holding?
It's holding one of his father's previous creations, a child figure, but this one is broken down, decaying, the head is lolling, it's been played with until it's falling apart.
And Vernon explains the cycle. The parent plays with the illusion, but when the body breaks down, when the seams go soft or the smell fades,
It starts to search again for what's missing. The illusion has to hold. It has to be perfect.
and the narrator realizes he's now the one responsible for maintaining that illusion.
The choice is taken from him 2 mornings later. He hears shouting from the town, a child is gone. He was just in the yard.
And he sees the townspeople looking at him. And in their eyes, he sees this thin, brittle relief.
Because they expected it. He had refused the job, so of course a child was taken. It was his fault.
And that's the moment he understands. I had been the one who could do something and had chosen not to. It's not about the monster anymore. It's about his own complicity.
So he goes into the workshop, and he begins the work.
He moves past the disgust and into this state of pure obsessive focus, reinforcing joints with wire, sealing sockets with resin, trying to get the face just right.
An unreadable smile, he calls it, something that wouldn't be questioned.
And the second he makes that choice, the town's behavior changes.
They accept him, but it's not with a party. It's with practical support.
Neighbors don't bring casseroles, they bring supplies, animal parts, firewood. 2 men show up with a canvas sack and just say, you just tell us what to find.
He's become a part of the system, and he describes this perverse sense of peace. In the city, he was anonymous. He says, here I woke to fresh bread. Here I mattered.
The horror has given him a purpose. And that's when he finds the journals.
His ancestors' journals, they're like technical manuals for this abomination, notes on failures. Too stiff, no warmth, refused it.
They were trying to perfect the illusion, and in one of the oldest volumes, he finds the key to the whole thing. An entry underlined 3 times.
No taxidermy child will last unless it's rooted in truth.
It must have been real.
And the floor just drops out. This is never just about animal parts and wire. The source body.
Had to be real. 1 child sacrificed to create the decoy that would save all the others. The illusion needed a foundation of truth to hold.
He finishes his work. The new figure is perfect. He leaves the workshop door unlocked. And the next morning, it's gone. The bargain is renewed. For now.
But the clock is already ticking on the next one. Which brings us to the end. The final scene.
A careful knock on his workshop door late one night.
It's Vernon, the messenger. And he's not alone.
Beside him is a boy, 10 or 11 years old. The volunteer.
And the description of the boy is the most terrifying part of the whole story. He isn't crying. He isn't scared.
He's calm. He knew what he was here for, the narrator says. He was ready.
That's the true horror. Not the monster in the woods, but the community's acceptance, the normalization of the sacrifice, the fact that a child could be raised to believe that this is his purpose, a necessary, even noble end.
It's a completely functional system of horror, a community that trades its innocence for a fragile, terrible peace.
Which leaves you with a question that's almost impossible to answer. If you were in his shoes, if you knew the price of peace required this one, continuous sacrifice, could you uphold that terrible arrangement? Or would you walk away knowing the slaughter you would be unleashing?